3 in a row, and you guys had chances today. The coach was talking about what is the general mood right now?
Everybody's still like questioning like what's going on, but I think we're putting it together. It came down to the end. We had some chances to get out the field on defensive wise, so I mean, we just leaving plays out there on the field. So I think we're moving in the right direction for sure. We just gotta finish. You gotta finish games, come out to the end, finish plays, finish drives, just finish everything that we do.
I think 8 for 10 on third down in the second half. What kind of went wrong for you guys in some of those plays?
I'd say like communication errors, and then like their players making plays. Pitt's a good team. They have good players all around the board. We got to get off the field on third downs. I think we had too many times the ball was just floating in the air. Like we got to make plays. So I mean, we got to make more plays all around.
I guess it was the last, real drive that they had in 7 minutes, things like that. You did kind of touch on it with some of the third downs, but in that 7-minute drive specifically, what made it kind of difficult to kind of get stops, get off the field, and things like that as they were running the clock?
Yeah, with them running the clock out, you never know if they're going to run the ball or pass the ball. So, I mean, kind of got to be on your toes. But, I mean, we just got to make tackles. Everybody got to do their job. Everybody specifically has to do their job. They have to fit their gaps. Talk, communicate, everything has to go right. So we just got to get those stops.
Fuzzy, the way they use the running back, read zero. I mean, he's obviously a elusive dude anyway, but it seems like they really schemed it up to get him into open space too. I mean, what did you see as the many problems there with trying to get that guy corralled?
Yeah, just the way they use him.
They knew everybody else covered up, and then they come out in the backfield and a little check down throw, a little wing like swing route or something like that. Just using them. They were smart with how they use them. If we went for them, that was an advantage point for them, so they abused it.
Advantage point in the secondary, but on those run plays with him, is it almost hard to see him find that goal gap just because he is so small behind those big offensive
Yeah,
lines?
he's so small.
Like you can't see him until he bounce out. But yeah, he knew how to use his pass. Stay behind his lineman.
And he thought their quarterback was probably the difference in the game. Just what impressed you the most about the way Holstein handled it?
I think he knew when to get out the pocket. Like he knew when to use his legs. He knew when he didn't have anything. He kind of scrambled to try to make a play. So I think that was the biggest thing for him, using his legs and making a play when there was nothing to make.
How much of a lift was Caleb's pick six?
Oh, that was a huge lift. That was a big momentum change right there in the beginning of the game. We needed that. So I think that lifted the team right there. A little momentum.
It was a heck of a play too.
He took it to the house.
It's a plus. Put points on the board on the defensive side, so that's always a plus.
A loss is a loss, but the last two were sort of gut-wrenching in their own ways. This one feels like there's maybe more to be proud about or encouraged about. Do you sense that at all? Do you locker room sense that?
Oh yeah. We all know we're taking the right steps. We doing the right things. We're trying to be and become a better team. So I mean, we just got to keep our head down, stay positive, and just keep taking it a day at a time.
Just told us that when you guys have given up explosives this year, it's usually been a miscommunication situation or someone trying to do too much. You guys gave up a handful of them today. Do you have any idea if it was miscommunication, guys trying to do too much, or what may have happened on some of those?
I mean, it was probably like one of the two. It's always one of those three. But I mean, some of them just got to come down to making a play. There wasn't really no communication to be said. We just got to make a play.
Usually the case, like you kind of hit on it a second ago, you give up a 46-yard play, a 72-yard play, it's usually a miscommunication or someone trying to do too much. How much of it has to do with the other guys just simply making a play?
Yeah, I mean, it has a lot to do with it. Simply just making a play. They could make it a better play. I mean, he's on scholarship too, just like we are. So, I mean, and it could come down to just technique, like the player not really making a crazy play, but you just losing off a technique or like an angle or assignment, alignment. I mean, it's a lot to do with it. So, I mean, we're mainly just somebody making a play. It come down to me making a play, him making a play, one of the two.
You guys actually came back today. That first play he got in there, he had the quarterback hit and everything like that. I guess as he gets healthier and is able to kind of get back to the reps that he usually was having, what type of impact do you think that will make, on the defense in the season moving forward?
Yeah, huge impact. He's a great player off the edge. So, I mean, him having that presence on the field just brings a problem. That's a problem on the board for coaches. You don't want to see Ruck on the field. You always got to have somebody on him, one or two people. So, I mean, just having him, his presence on the field is going to be felt.
Not to comment on anyone that was there in his place, but I guess was that I guess his disruptiveness. Do you feel like that was an element of the defense that was maybe kind of missing in those games that they missed?
I mean, he's a player, so I mean, it's always gonna be like a problem when you don't have him. Not a problem, but just missing him, like that's his rook. So I mean, you just do a whole bunch of lot more stuff. But I mean, somebody goes down, that's what you got like young guys for. Whoever goes down, next person has to step in, and we got to treat them the same way. We can't not back down, or whoever in, look at them a certain type of way. We just got to go get the job done, whoever it is.
Is there also just a sense of like juice that he brings when he's out there on the field, Rucker? I'm saying, like it's just like maybe a different energy when you have 7 running around.
Yeah, just his presence is felt. You know.
Elijah, what would you say? You mentioned earlier that you felt like this team is taking the right steps and doing the right things. You just have to keep your head down, keep working. What are the things that you see that give you that belief that you are moving in the right direction, even if the wins aren't coming?
Like
Some plays, like we communicate great. Like we make the right checks, make the right plays. Just sometimes you don't make the plays, sometimes you do make the plays. So I mean, just you can't quit not doing what you've been doing for up to this long. You just got to stay consistent, keep believing, keep trusting, keep believing everybody, God's behind you, everybody gonna do their job. And I mean, just keep rolling. Like next play, whatever happens, you got to keep going. Shake that play off. Next play, next drive, next series, next down, next game. You just got to buckle down, stay down. We got a long season. So I mean, I'm trying to keep everybody positive and then continue to move in the right way.
All right. Thanks a lot.
Appreciate y'all.
Questions, how are you? And what's the mood?
I'm good. I mean, obviously, right after a loss, you're kind of bummed because you're in the game and you have a chance to win, and it just doesn't happen, doesn't go your way. I mean, I feel great though, physically, mentally, feel great. Just wish we would have came out with a win.
To Mac, you hit on some positives. One of them is that finding the identity of the offense with you at quarterback. Do you feel like you took some steps forward there today?
Yes, sir. I feel like I've grown the last 3 weeks, and that's what it all comes down to. I really feel like this team is growing the last 3 weeks. Obviously, you go through QB changes, and you have to figure out, okay, what's our identity now? And we're continuing moving forward, and we're finding that out as we continue to go.
Do you feel like, to sort of use video game term, do you feel like you've 100% of the playbook at this point? Like, you sort of know it as if you had been here longer than you actually have?
That's a good grasp on it. I mean, he gives me a new play, kind of remember it from the old times. Obviously, here and there, he has nipped it up quite a bit. But, I mean, for my mentally stand of the playbook, I feel like I'm there. I can be a lot better there, continue to grow with that as he continues to give me new plays as we go. But, yes, sir.
Elijah, you were in here before, they were saying that they're getting there. Like, the steps are being taken, and, like, Pitt, Duke, and James Madison, those are all good teams, and you're sort of getting closer to where you want to be by the end of the season. It seems like you feel that way too, right?
I do 100%. You can look on offense. We're pretty much a young team. We have a lot of guys on our line that hasn't played much besides Willie, and we're still trying to figure that out, trying to figure out, okay, where do we need to take the next step at? Like, how do we get better in the pass game? How do we get better in the run game? How do I get better? Things like that. And we're finding that out each and every week. Obviously, you have positives throughout a game, then you have negatives. So the next step is, okay, let's build on those positives. Obviously, let's work out these negatives.
Jacoby, how deflating were the 2 trips inside the 10 where you guys didn't come away with any points? You had the one in the first half, and then obviously the one in the fourth quarter seemed rather huge. I mean, obviously they seemed like killers. How deflating were they?
I'd say, those are typically different plays just because it's 4th and 1, it's 4th and 2, and you have to score. You're in the red zone. I feel like we didn't convert on one of those, and I feel like the very first one, we didn't change our mood. It was like we still have a lot more ball games to play. The second one, that one's just a devastating one because you're cracking back on points that they just scored, and so you have to score now, change the momentum. And we didn't execute. We didn't execute as my part. O-line didn't execute, and we just have to continue to grow and just realize when we're in a position like that, we have to give it all we have.
Just watching it live, I mean, I'm saying we're watching it live. it looked like Omarion might have run into Banfield. Is that what you saw?
I agree.
Obviously, you can't overturn the refs. Wish you can sometimes, but you can't. But, but I mean, it's their way, and their way is what they call. And you think, okay, we got that yard, but at the end of the day, it's not what you think. And obviously, I saw it. It can be a coin toss from there. You never know. So, I mean, I'm not going to put my input on what I thought just because, like, even if it doesn't matter, I mean, it still went one way.
Stay on those fourth downs. Mac was talking to us earlier, was saying he did kind of know going in that you guys would probably, try to go for touchdowns more so than the field goals. I guess as an offensive unit, how much does he communicate that to you guys, beforehand, like in a week during a game of, if we're getting fourth and short, or if we get in these situations, we're going to go for that fourth down more often than not?
Yes, sir. That's something we emphasize pretty hard, where sometimes in different areas of the drive, he'll be like, okay, we have 2 more downs here. And that alerts me, okay, I don't have to go for the big play. I can get the little play. I have 1 more down left. So, I mean, he emphasizes that a lot, especially when we're in red zone. We want touchdowns. Field goals is always great to have, but, I mean, that's not as many points as a touchdown. And so for me, I really have to execute down there and get us in the end zone.
Looked like you ran the ball a little bit more today, and you had a couple of design runs, called runs. Was that one of the new things added this week as part of finding the identity of the offense, knowing that you can run a couple of those QB draws?
I feel like we all kind of knew I was able to do it. It was just a matter of time when's the right team, like who's going to give us that opportunity, and they gave us the opportunity, and so we took it, and it worked really well for us throughout drives, and I feel like that's something we're going to also lean on as we continue.
Did Nate McCollum open your eyes today?
I knew Nate was a dog from the moment I met him. Actually, whenever I was here 2 years ago, I reached out to him, was like, hey, because he was I think he was in the portal. I'm not 100% sure on it, but at the time I think so. And I was like, hey, you want to come here? But I mean, things turned around. He's here. I'm here. So he didn't come when I wanted him to, but he's here now. But I knew Nate was a dog, and he showed that today. He's a great player. He's a guy, when you give him the ball, he's going to make a play. And as time keeps going, that's one of the guys we can rely on.
I'm saying it seemed like the burst was even, there was more burst to what he had going on today, I felt.
Oh yeah, like I said
Before, when you give him the ball, he knows where the end zone is, and he didn't find the end zone today, but he got us a lot of yards, and that's something we can really rely on and give him short yard plays and let him make big yard gains out of it.
Jacoby, that drive they had in the fourth quarter, you guys had just thrown the fourth down. They took it, they held it for about 7 minutes before you guys were able to get it back, and they ended up with the field goal. What was kind of going through your mind as you were kind of watching them, kind of sticking on the sideline and kind of eating up that clock before you guys?
So as soon as they got past probably the opposite 30, in our minds it's 1 minute drill. We have to go score quick, no sacks, get the ball out, and execute from there. And I'd say honestly, the one that I did get sacked on, great play call. They just happened to have the great defense for it. And me thinking it's third down from what I saw. And so I'm thinking, okay, it's either I throw this ball out or someone gets open. And they got to me, and that's on me. I mean, like I said, it's my third start, so I still have ways where I can learn and continue to improve, and that's just something I have to do better.
Jacoby, these are all different kinds of losses that you guys have suffered from JMU to today. If you could take a reading or a gauge on just the morale in general of this group, where would you say you guys are? I'm sure the frustration is higher than you would like it to be, but or maybe not. How would you gauge sort of the morale of this group?
I'd say it's still in signs of, okay, we have to get better, and we still have a long season left. We can still accomplish the things we want to accomplish, and we're not going to shy away from that. Like I said last week, I believe in these guys. The guys believe in me. The coaches, we all believe in each other. So it's just taking that next step of finding our identity and figuring out how we can come out with these wins. I mean, the last 2 ball games have been very close, and It's like, what's the next step? What do we have to do? Is that watching more film? Is that doing the extra? And so it's just things like that that we have to figure out from ourselves and from within us, and taking that next step and moving forward. And once we do that, then we're going to have a pretty good ball team.
Is it a little bit more challenging to believe those things when you lose 1, then 2, and then 3?
Oh, no, sir. I mean, for me personally, like, I've grown into a football family. So, I mean, my dad as coach, I've seen a lot of his games growing up, and he's had games where they lost 5 in a row, but he's always given them faith, like, don't give up. And so he's instilled that in me, and I'm going to instill that in the guys. You never know. You never know when your last play is going to be. So don't give up now. And that's just something I was always taught since I was young, and I feel like the team, as in general, they just want to go. They just want to continue to get better and get these ball games running the way they should be.
Looked like you took a bunch more shots today. The midsection.
Yeah, I did. I mean, it's football. I mean, I'm going to take some shots. I mean, you see those shots, and everyone wants to blame it on online, but look at the guy holding the ball. And I got to do better on my part. Those guys are doing what they need to do, and I need to do what I need to do. And as time keeps going, that's something I will be better at. And I won't say the O-line is – everyone's going to say O-line is doing this, oh, it's a bad O-line, blah, blah, blah. But at the end of the day, it's the guy holding the ball back there, and I just have to do better.
All right. Thanks, Cole.